Stop trying to go viral on YouTube and start focusing on SEO instead. In this video, I'm going to reveal an entire YouTube SEO masterclass that I just did for one of the top AI communities on School, where I reveal my entire playbook of how I went from zero to over 25,000 subscribers in just a few years, all fueled by YouTube SEO. So be sure to stick around for the entire video. And if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. My name is Ryan, and I help executives and founders leverage AI to scale content, save time, and build a strong personal brand online. And if you want to know my favorite AI tools, prompts, and even automation templates, be sure to get my free AI Marketing Essentials Guide. You can find the link for this in the video description or pinned comment below. And now let's dive into this YouTube SEO masterclass. We're going to talk all about YouTube SEO, and I call it my secret weapon of YouTube growth because a lot of creators on YouTube, they don't really think about the SEO element. It's how do I go viral? How do I make these things look cool? How do I get views? So I'm excited to dive into the SEO element. Again, I've left the link to these slides in the chat, so please follow along. Links, resources, everything is in there. For those who don't know who I am, my background is actually in marketing, mostly SEO and pay-per-click. So I've been in the marketing industry for over 10 years now at this point. I've worked with some of these brands that you've seen on the screen, managing multi-million dollar paid search budgets, playing in big boy SEO against Forbes, US News, the whole shebang. So I've been in the weeds of SEO and pay-per-click throughout my entire career. I've been featured in a ton of publications that you see right here. My current day-to-day, as I do affiliate marketing in the tech niche, a lot of SEO is involved there. I do high-ticket lead generation for clients in various industries. I run a marketing agency. Of course, I have a YouTube channel with over 25,000 subscribers right now. And then I also run my own school community called the AI Marketing Insiders. Quick little rundown on my YouTube story. So I started my channel in August of 2023. And when I did that, I had no audience, no distribution, and I also have no creative skills. I don't know jack about editing videos, producing videos, lighting, graphic design. I don't know any of that stuff. But in 2 years, I grew this thing to over 25,000 subscribers. I'm excited to dive in and exactly how I did that. And so first things first, for those that didn't know, less than 10% of all YouTubers actually have over 10,000 subscribers. That's a little statistic that I wanted to throw out there for you guys. And today I'm at over 25,000 subs, about 2 million total views. I make around $5,000 to $7,000 a month just from YouTube. That's through ad revenue, affiliates, sponsorships, just those types of things. And then it's also a lead gen engine for my marketing agency. I've had several leads come through my YouTube channel where some have turned into clients. And that's probably one of the best ways that you can leverage a YouTube channel that a lot don't think about. Shameless plug, but if you guys haven't already, like, share, subscribe, the whole shebang, I would truly appreciate your support. So quick background on why SEO matters before I get, tactical and share some of my strategies. So YouTube is the second biggest website on the internet, for those that weren't aware of that. Behind Google, owned and operated by the same company, of course, Alphabet Inc. There's a few metrics here in addition to YouTube being number 2 in the world. Notice how there's about, on average, 9 pages per visit on YouTube. That means the average visitor to YouTube is watching 9 videos on average. So that shows the power of YouTube right there, with the bounce rate being about 31%, much lower than all of these other top 10 websites. So this right here just shows the power of YouTube and how strong of a brand this has. I don't see this going away anytime soon. And funny enough, the term YouTube has 1.4 billion searches on Google search alone. Just keep that in mind as well. Here are my YouTube SEO metrics. So I went on the back end just to prepare for this presentation to dig out some data for you guys. And notice YouTube search leads the way. This is actual search inside the YouTube platform. So YouTube search has made up about 33% of all of my views and about 41% of my entire watch time. Now, something else to note here is external. So external is really any other traffic source outside of YouTube. That's email, social media, that's traffic from other search engines like Google search, Perplexity, LLMs. So if I had to guess, a lot of that external data is actually being fueled from SEO on other mediums. I couldn't get super granular in the weeds there, but I just wanted to call that out as well. So this is kind of my brain dump here, or this slide is, on why YouTube SEO matters holistically. So I would bookmark this, come back to this. Don't have time to get in too much of the weeds, but I wanted to get out all my thoughts on this slide. Not only is YouTube the second biggest website in the world, it's the second largest search engine in the world. A lot of people don't think about people coming to YouTube and searching, but it is number 2 behind Google. There's also less competition, right? So think about in the age of AI with Google, anyone can spin up a blog and try to rank on Google or LLMs or search engines. There's a much higher barrier to entry on YouTube. So think about that as well. It also attracts higher intent traffic. Someone coming to YouTube and looking for a solution to their problem is going to sit there for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. And that shows much higher intent than someone looking for a quick answer on ChatGPT or Google AI search. And then they're off to the races doing something else. Also, Google is placing more YouTube videos in SERPs or search engine results pages. As you see in the example here, this is one example of someone Googling SEO and noticing that there's a video under what people are saying. And there's also a video section in Google SERPs as well. This is very applicable to a lot of keywords that you guys are probably trying to rank for. So maybe do some Google searches and see if YouTube videos are popping up in the SERPs as well. It also builds trust signals for LLMs. If you're a personal brand or if you're a company, having authentic, high quality, long form YouTube videos just adds trust signals to ChatGPT, Google Gemini. And that's the name of the game in the age of AI. It's just building as many trust signals as we can. Long form video is also a great content foundation where we can use AI to remix and repurpose that into other mediums. Long form video also builds trust better than any other platform. And that's very important in the age of AI when trust is dwindling by the day. So just keep that in mind as well. And there's also more monetization opportunities with long form YouTube than other platforms. One important thing to call out here is that YouTube SEO is not the same as Google SEO. I'm sure you guys have heard all the time, well, SEO is dead. Ryan, isn't it dead? What do you think, right? I get this all the time. The problem with that statement is a big fallacy of people synonymizing the term SEO with Google. SEO applies to more than just Google. It applies to LLMs, Perplexity, it applies to Bing, other search engines, it applies to Instagram, TikTok, and it also applies to YouTube. There's an SEO component to all of those. And so what I'm trying to show you on this slide here is that when you search for something like best AI tools for marketing, notice the drastic differences in SERPs or search engine results pages from Google to YouTube. Platforms like Google that are generating more zero click results and AI search generated results. Notice how there's an AI result up top where it just spits out the tools with no citations. And then it has an AI overview on the bottom. So you have to scroll down before you even see an organic link to click off to. Versus YouTube, notice how I'm ranking 3 for that keyword, best AI tools for marketing. That's a very, very big keyword in my niche of AI and marketing. Notice how the SERP is a lot more rewarding there, where it's just all organic content. Sure, there'll be an ad here or there, depending on the query on YouTube, but I don't see YouTube getting into the AI generated results game. I really don't see that, because what's the point of YouTube at that point if they're just going to have AI generated results when that's what we have LLMs and AI search engines for? So just wanted to call that out first. Also, when it comes to YouTube SEO, always think about intent over attention. Everyone wants to try to go viral. That's all the beginner advice that you see on YouTube is here's how to go viral and all these clickbait videos telling you how to go viral. But this is a case in point of why you need to focus on intent over attention. There's a very popular AI tool called Blaze AI. They're an AI content or marketing tool. I did a review on these guys about 9 months ago. My video still ranks 1 on Google search and YouTube search, depending on the query. This one review video has brought in over $12,000 of affiliate commission. That is from just intent. I didn't try to go viral with Blaze AI. I tried to rank for the keyword Blaze AI with other longer tail variations. Blaze AI review, how to use Blaze AI, and those longer tail variations just like that. So I wanted to show you an actual case study there of why intent matters more than attention. So now I'm going to dive in and get a little more practical here of giving you a synopsis of my YouTube SEO formula from the very beginning. Now, there's a lot of information here and I won't be able to get into the weeds of all of it. I've left a lot of prompts and links. So that's why I gave the link to the slides so you guys can explore this afterwards. The very first thing that you want to think about when it comes to YouTube SEO, you need to define your niche. I'm talking narrowly defining your niche and your ICP, ideal customer profile. Who is your target audience? And when you're talking about picking a niche, this needs to be something that you actually have real expertise in, not just something that you're passionate about, because in the age of AI video, anyone can spin up AI videos on any topic. You really have to have an edge there. And so this is an example of a prompt that you can use if you're just starting out on ChatGPT or your LLM of choice. I've used this before, and this just gives you a good kind of holistic overview of what videos you should do, what niches you should do, the reasoning, how it scores it. I'll show you that on the next slide here. But you also want to choose a niche with monetization just beyond ad revenue. Chasing ad revenue is a loser's game on YouTube. You never want to do that. And you also need to validate demand with search volume. So you can use keyword research tools, Google Trends, YouTube Auto Suggest. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit with evergreen topics. That's very important. You don't want to just spin up an AI news channel and expect that to do well long term, because that's not evergreen. You're going to burn out trying to play that game. And you also want to focus on being an educator or an entertainer. This is a very important point here. Unless you have a strong personality or you're physically attractive, most people want to get into the entertainer route. I have neither of those. You should default to education. If you want to default to an educator, that is how you make money on YouTube for most people, not being an entertainer. There are outliers, of course. And then in terms of that prompt, this is kind of what I got as the results here of the ChatGPT result, where essentially it gave me, ChatGPT use my memory from 3, 4, 5 years ago. Ever since I've started using this, it knows a lot about me at this point. And it basically said, hey, Ryan, here are 3 niches that you should do on YouTube based on your expertise and your knowledge. AI for marketers and content creators, YouTube growth with AI systems. And then it gives me a score of 1 to 10 of audience buying power, search demand, competition, right? And I could dig into that a little more and say, what are some keywords? What are some video ideas, right? And you could play from that. And this is important to call out, because you want to do a niche that's too narrow, like AI for marketing, YouTube growth with AI systems, AI first personal branding. Notice how it didn't just say AI, or it didn't just say marketing. You don't want to get into something that's super broad, because you're not going to be able to compete most likely in those super broad niches. You want to get something a little more narrow than that. So part 2 after this is video ideas and keyword research. Well, now that you have your ICP, you have your niche. Well, Ryan, what videos do I make? How do I know what I'm doing here? Well, you want to treat YouTube like a search engine. I talked about that before, where every video needs to target a keyword. You don't want to make day in the life. You don't want to do vlogs. No one cares about that stuff. You're going after actual search demand on YouTube. So you can use things like YouTube Auto Suggest. You can use Google Trends, that has its own YouTube tab where you can actually monitor YouTube results and not just Google search results. You can use other keyword research tools, SEMrush, Ahrefs, Ubersuggest, if you guys are familiar with those. ChatGPT agent mode is actually pretty useful for something like this too. So just wanted to call that out. And I also recommend sticking to proving winning video formats. Think comparisons, think reviews, think best ofs, how-tos, listicles. You don't just want to generate random videos. You want to do things that people actually care about and that people are searching. And then here's an example of a prompt that you can use as well. Again, this is in the link to the slides that I shared. And then this is the result that I got from that follow-up one in the first one. So I said, give me 10 video ideas based on my ICP and based on my niche. 15 best AI tools for marketers. It gives me a target keyword, and then it also went out and did research using the internet in real time of its estimated YouTube search volume. And I also asked for a 1-sentence hook in addition to that. Now, you can ask for as many data points here as you want, but the point here is to give you just a general idea of 10 videos that you should just focus on from the very beginning that people are actually searching for, where you might have a unique edge in, versus just trying to do something that you don't know a lot about. So that's just and again, this is very basic. I wanted to keep it pretty basic here for those that are just starting. You can definitely get more advanced than this, but wanted to call that out. The next step here is building a content flywheel. You need to commit to weekly long form videos. I'll be honest with you, YouTube will never say this. They are tracking how much time you are spending in their platform and how much you are uploading. And of course, the more creators spend time on YouTube, the more they're going to reward them, because that's more ad revenue, ads they can place in there. That's more time on YouTube. So just think about that. At a bare minimum, if you want to compete, you have to put out 1 long form video a week, and it has to be high quality. It can't just be any BS long form video. So you should use AI to create a strategic content calendar to help you prioritize weekly videos. I'm going to show you that here next. I also recommend batch recording and just doing the damn thing. Like I said, I don't know anything about video production, editing, graphic design. I still get scared talking to the camera every other day, but I still hit the record button and I still pull through. And so that's literally what it comes down to. I'm living, if I can do this, I know anyone can do it, is really what it comes down to. And then there's an example of a prompt that you can use to generate a weekly content calendar. So this is what that looks like in practice. So remember those video ideas that I had from the previous slide? Well, now it's helping me prioritize what videos I should work on first, giving me a 12-week content calendar with the title, the target keyword, an explanation of why this video might move the needle, listicles attract a broad audience, high evergreen demand, and also monetization ideas for each video as well. As remember, we're not just trying to chase ad revenue here. We're trying to go after affiliates, potential leads for our business on the back end, sponsorship opportunities. So these are just some good data points that you guys can use. The next part here is packaging. And, I had a good chat with Jack Roberts about this actually when I was in New York. Adam, I think you were involved in this too, where we literally talked about packaging for probably a half hour because packaging is king. And when I talk about packaging, I'm talking about title, thumbnail, hook when it comes to YouTube. If no one searches for your videos, if no one clicks your videos, they are not watching your videos. So packaging has to become before everything else. You can make the best YouTube video on planet Earth. If you don't have a good thumbnail, title, or hook, it really doesn't matter. And that's just the reality of the situation here. And so here's just a good beginner prompt that you can use, but you also want to promise a clear outcome in your hook as well. So if you say a hook at the very beginning, you want to make sure that you solve that solution of the hook that you said at the beginning in the video. And also something important from an SEO perspective here is within that hook, you want to say your target keyword within the first 5 to 10 seconds of your video, because YouTube, obviously there's a transcript associated to each video. YouTube's algorithm knows what you're saying in your videos. They automatically transcribe them. And so the more that we can optimize our target keyword by actually talking in the video itself versus just titles and descriptions and all the other elements, that's a very important factor that I wanted to call out too. So that's what this looks like, right? So if I ask for, what are some examples if my target keyword is Poppy AI? That's a popular AI tool. And I want some YouTube SEO title ideas and I want hook ideas. Well, here's what that prompt came back with. And here's a very clear example. And I could get more granular in advance, but I wanted to make this simple. On the bottom here, this is my current title right now. And I'm ranking 1 on Google and YouTube, 1 or 2, depending on the day, for Poppy AI and Poppy AI review. The top one is my title, Poppy AI review. Is this popular AI tool worth the hype? I have the keyword in the front. I have less than about 65, 70 characters. Very important on mobile when people are scrolling. You don't want your title to cut off because a lot of YouTube traffic is on mobile. And also I have the keyword in front. And then I also have a curiosity element after the keyword. Poppy AI review. Is this popular AI tool worth the hype? Is it worth the hype? I don't know. Well, now I've piqued curiosity and could get someone to click on that because they want to find out if it's actually worth it or not. Versus the alternative of what people who don't understand YouTube SEO, here's my review of Poppy AI. Click it, guys. Go ahead and watch my video, right? No one cares about that. You're not piquing curiosity. There's 10, 20, 30 other reviews of Poppy AI. You have to make your packaging stand out. And that's a very basic example from a YouTube title component of how to do it. Now I want to talk about thumbnails a little bit. And by no means am I the graphic design expert, but the reason that I want to talk about thumbnails in the SEO element is CTR, which stands for click-through rate. This is clicks divided by impressions. Click-through rate is a very important element of SEO. YouTube is tracking your channel's click-through rate, and so that is all factored in to where you're showing up in the search results. And so in my opinion, when it comes to thumbnails, you're going to see all these clickbait videos of generate with Nano Banana and OpenAI's latest model and this cool AI tool. What I've learned from experience, those tools are probably 85, 90% there, but you still have to add some sort of human element or human in the loop to make those look really nice. So I recommend just outsourcing thumbnails. I started doing that. And once I started outsourcing my thumbnails, I saw my channel grow exponentially because I wasn't wasting time doing it. And I knew enough. I don't have graphic design background, but it's just that time element. I would rather pay an expert to make it look right, give him some feedback, than waste my time just trying to grind it out myself, right? That's a common fallacy that we see in a lot of new creators who are kind of constrained on the resource side of things. You also want to optimize for click-through rate. What is going to get someone to click your video, not what looks cool. You don't want to design something that you might think looks cool or looks nice. Remember, you're optimizing for click-through rate. You want people to click your videos and make it stand out in a given search results page. The elements of thumbnails that I have found to be extremely important to improve your click-through rates are headshots showing emotion. You want one focus element per thumbnail. You want the color pop, and you also want 2 to 4 words that are relevant to your target keyword for a specific thumbnail. And again, here are some AI image tools you guys can use. In Nano Banana, OpenAI's latest AI image model. And you can play around with this AI stuff. But at the end of the day, I always just recommend outsourcing this to an expert. And so here's a quick example. This was when I first started my channel about 2 years ago. Notice how terrible these thumbnails are. These were me trying to grind it out myself, use AI, use Canva, Photoshop. I was just trying to figure out any way possible. Well, fast forward to today, notice the stark difference in quality of my thumbnails now versus my thumbnails before. And the thumbnail quality alone, I credit a lot to my channel's growth. And you can see some of the elements that I just talked about. Let's look at my latest video as an example. The target keyword is ChatGPT projects. Notice how I have the key area of focus. I have a face showing emotion pointing to something. I have the element here, the colors pop, right? All the other elements that I talked about, I just wanted to make that clear for you guys in a before and after comparison. All right, so now optimizing videos for SEO. I don't know how much time I'm going to have here, but I wanted to actually do a real world walkthrough of how I would optimize a video for SEO. So I'm going to use this as an example. I rank 1 or 2 for the keywords Poppy AI review, all the other longer tail variations. I've already talked about the title. You want the keyword up front to end it with some curiosity element. So the title is very important. I talked about the thumbnail here as well, just before this. One little detail that I think a lot of people overlook is actually having the keyword in your file names. So in the MP4 file for the video, Poppy AI review. In the PNG file for my thumbnail, Poppy AI review. So the amount of data points here, we want to feed YouTube with as many data points as possible. And then in my description, I always recommend 1 to 2 sentences with the target keyword in the first sentence. Poppy AI review. That's very basic here. If you have an affiliate link, put that up here. If you have a free opt-in guide, put that up here as well. So I'd always recommend target keyword in the first sentence, 1 to 2 sentences, followed by your call to actions. Then from there, this is another slept on little tactic here. You want to internally link your own YouTube videos or YouTube playlists. Think about this, right? YouTube wants people to stay on the platform. The more that you can give YouTube all the juice here of getting people to stay on the platform, they're going to reward you for that. And so that's my little tactic of internally linking relevant YouTube videos and YouTube playlists. I'd recommend maybe 3 to 5, but make sure they're relevant. You don't just want to link your entire YouTube channel and list 100 videos. You want to make sure it's about 3 to 5 relevant videos. And I also recommend linking any references. This helps from a viewer's perspective. Anyone watching this, if you mention something, they want to look for that in the description, because remember, YouTube is tracking all of this stuff. They're tracking what people are doing, where they're clicking, how they're navigating around YouTube. And so the more you can help the user, the more YouTube is going to help you out. And then go down here, I recommend about 3 to 4 hashtags per video. Now, if you go in here and enter a hashtag like AI tools, for instance, it's going to bring up some like data here of how many videos, how many channels have it. So I recommend about 3 to 4 relevant hashtags per video. That's just another little thing there. I'd also recommend using timestamps. Now, timestamps are very important. This actually helps on Google search. I've seen Google search list timestamps when they put YouTube videos. So you always want to make sure that you have optimized timestamps for every video. I have an affiliate disclaimer. I have a playlist here, so I'd recommend having relevant playlists for whatever categories your videos are in. I'd also recommend having tags. Now, tags aren't the most important thing in the world, but again, it's another data point. So you want to have as many SEO optimized tags in here that you possibly can. Some of these other settings aren't too important in my opinion, but those are the big ones I really wanted to call out here. Title, thumbnail, keyword in the file names, keyword in the first sentence, internally linking other YouTube videos or other playlists. And then what you can do is once you have this formula down, copy and paste, rinse and repeat, move on to the next videos, rinse and repeat with other information. That's exactly what I do. I actually have a Claude project that helps me out with this. So you can use a custom GPT, a chat GPT project. I'm sure there's automations to help with this as well. But I leverage a Claude project to basically help me with all of this information when I provide the data points of the transcript, title, and target keyword, and then spits back all this information that I properly trained it with. So again, I'm happy to share any resources along the way as possible as well. So I hope that helped. After that, once you get the video optimized, now we need to talk about repurposing and distribution. Distribution is king. So when it comes to email, your website, your social media platforms, as much distribution as you possibly can. Because once you just publish that video, you want to get as many eyeballs on it within the first probably 24 hours as possible, because those are sending signals to YouTube's algorithm. So maybe it's an email blast, maybe it's social post, maybe it's a community post. So you need to own your distribution, so that way you can kind of take your videos to the next level and just keep pumping and compounding from there. I also recommend repurposing every video into an SEO optimized blog post, repurposing it into short form video for TikTok, for YouTube Shorts, for Instagram Reels, all of these other platforms that you can play into. Again, I talked about owned distribution versus rented distribution. And then here's another prompt example for basic repurposing that you guys can use. Or you can leverage an automation for this. This is one I've been trying to figure out more in depth here of essentially where, and by the way, this is the Ninja Armory YouTube transcriber that I pulled from this community, where you can automatically transcribe YouTube videos into other short form mediums, social media platforms. Just you have a WordPress module, an SEO optimized blog post. I have an email newsletter. So if we can leverage these automations to automatically repurpose YouTube videos and get better distribution that way, that is going to move the needle significantly. Same with YouTube Shorts. I know someone asked about my clone. I have an AI clone using HeyGen and 11 Labs that I repurpose. Or I have an editor. I hired someone to do this that repurposes all of my long form videos, takes those into transcripts, creates short form transcripts, creates a HeyGen clone, and then edits those. And now I have those on autopilot across YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok. You guys can explore all of those channels of mine and kind of research and do whatever you want from there. But yeah, it's not going viral, but heck, if I can get 1,000 views per YouTube short, 500 views per reel, 500 views per all this stuff adds up at the end of the day. That's the whole goal of this. These are 1,000 other views in YouTube Shorts algorithm that I would have never had if I wasn't remixing and redistributing into my short form clone. So just some final thoughts as I wrap up here. Again, remember YouTube SEO is not the same as Google SEO. It's a completely different, the fundamentals are very similar, but it's a different ballgame in terms of search results. Focus on search intent over attention. Stop trying to go viral. Everyone wants to go viral, but A, it's very difficult to do so. And B, most people don't even have the systems built to capitalize if they were to go viral. So just keep that in mind too. Also, action beats planning. Hit the damn record button and you'll beat 99% of people trying to play this game. Authentic long form video equals content machine. So you can leverage AI to remix and redistribute all that. Build systems and own your distribution. Build an email list, start a community, build your social platforms, build your website traffic. These are great ways to just increase the overall visibility and grow your channel. And a lot of YouTube success is also fake. I wanted to throw that in there as well. I got into it with this guy a week ago. I hate to bring this up, but he was coming after me with this YouTube stuff. And at the end of the day, if you guys see all these people with these huge subscriber numbers and views, just realize that most of it is fabricated and people can pay their way to the top. So I'm very passionate about that stuff. It fires me up, but just don't let that tear you down if you're trying to build your channel. So thank you guys for sitting through this. I have a YouTube growth playlist where I just give a ton of tips and tricks on YouTube growth on my channel. And if you guys want to pick my brain, I do offer YouTube consulting. You don't have to do that. I would just appreciate a subscribe to the channel. That would mean the world to me, even that.